Hello everybody, it's Dr. Steve with another episode of Core Wellness TV. And since the last two videos, we've been talking about how to activate your deep core system and how to move properly so you don't damage yourself with daily activities. For instance, I did the hip hinge video when I was out shoveling snow a week or so ago, and we got a lot of good comments about that, just from people. We had a raw food meetup last night and had a couple of people mention that they had used that and it actually made a huge difference the first time they did it. One woman said that she said, yeah, whatever. She said it was not that big a deal, it wouldn't make a big difference. And she lives on a farm and she's just shoveling all the time, and she said that she was going to try it whenever she started vacuuming, because usually when you vacuum, what do you look like? You look like this, right? Your back is really round and you're pushing. All I did was teach her how to do the hip hinge, which is this, right? Remember that? We're going to, instead of bending at the back, we bend at the hips. So whenever we push the vacuum forward, we just make sure we keep our nice flat back. We stick our tail out just slightly. When you do that, you keep your back from getting chewed up, essentially, in the process. And she said that after just doing that, her back didn't hurt like it normally did after she got done vacuuming. So a success, and I'm sure there's more out there, but if you apply these little things to your daily activities, it's going to make a huge difference in your life, because these inefficient and damaging movement patterns that you use throughout your day are the main thing that causes all of the degeneration and decay. And what I want to do today is give you another little movement pattern adjustment that is really big, which is reaching, okay? Or in scientific terms, it would be called arm abduction, or reaching, like, for instance, just reaching up to get a glass out of a cabinet. When you reach to get a glass out of a cabinet, there's two ways to do it. There's one way. I'm going to show you two ways. The first way is like this. Okay, that's way number one. And way number two is like this. Did you see the difference? I'll do it again. First way, like this. Second way, like this. Very subtle differences, but yet another little hinge that swings a big door. Okay, remember that these little bitty things done over and over again daily, in and out, in and out, in and out, over and over and over, will eventually cause breakdowns. So, I want to show you the difference. I'll show you from behind so you can see. If you raise your arm in a way where you use your neck muscles to lift, you're doing an inefficient movement pattern, because these muscles are not designed to do that. Only if you really need a lot of strength, do you actually need to recruit these. They shouldn't turn on until your arm gets to about 60 degrees. If you initiate the movement with your upper trapezius and these muscles, these are the ones when somebody comes behind you and they say, oh, I really needed that. Those muscles are the uptight muscles. So we can train those down, tone those guys down by just having awareness of how to do that motion pattern. So the correct motion pattern is very simple. In order for the arm to go up, we want the shoulder blade to come down. Okay? It's a very, very simple thing. But since we sit at computers all day and we're so tight forward, and most of us have stress breathing patterns where we breathe up and down, you can test yourself with breathing that way too. If you look in the mirror, when you breathe, is your clavicle going up and down? If it is, that's a stressful breathing pattern, and that's creating lots of tension in your upper traps and levators, and even in your suboccipital muscles back here that can cause headaches and all kinds of stuff like that. So back to my original point, in order to be able to anchor your shoulder blade down, you got to be nice and loose up here. Okay, so if you get tons and tons of tension up here, sometimes it's not going to be real easy to anchor that down. And that's why sometimes body work is very, very, very important to help kind of speed that process along. Okay, you can body work, you can get active release technique, myofascial technique, there's post-isometric relaxation, there's muscle energy techniques, there's all kinds of techniques that can help you release that tension. And now, whenever you raise your arm, you're able to anchor that shoulder blade down as you lift. Okay? This is this is what we call functional fitness. Meaning, we want to do things functionally. So if you're at the gym, for instance, if you're at the gym and you're doing an overhead press and you're doing it like this, and you're your neck is forward and your shoulders are up, that's very ineffective. And I always see, I do one more time, see like this? That's putting tons and tons of strain. Let's change that, make it look like this. Okay? Where the arms go up, but the shoulders don't rise. Okay? So that's just one thing. If you can just become aware of that, then that's a huge, huge, huge piece of the puzzle. Because awareness is half the battle. Actually, I think it's like 3/4 of the battle. If you can become aware of these movement patterns that damage you, then you can stop it from continuing to damage you. And then you can live a life that's more pain-free and energetic. And that's the other thing, is whenever you do these kinds of things, you're wasting energy. This is energy that you don't have to expend. And it's creating inefficiency, and basically the economy of your body is very poor when you do inefficient movement patterns. So now when you come home at night, you don't have that extra energy to play with your kids. Or you don't have that extra energy to go out and work in the garden, or do the housework you need to get done, or get that stack organized, or whatever it is. You say, oh, I'm worn out. But that's the one thing people say whenever they start going through our programs and they start learning how to use their body efficiently and effectively and strain-free. That's the first thing they say. I can't believe the energy that I have. No other changes. My energy is better, my sleep is better, because it just calms the nervous system. When the nervous system is used correctly, it's much calmer. Okay? So that's the thing for the day. I want you to watch, be aware, whenever you raise your arm, are you shrugging your shoulder? Or is your arm floating up because you have this nice strong stability down low? Okay? And it all comes from that, I talked about that in the last video, the intra-abdominal pressure. If you have stiffness here, then your scapula and the muscles that attach to your spine, that pull your scapula down and anchor it, your serratus anterior and your lower trapezius and all these muscles, if you don't have a strong core, you don't have an anchor for all these muscles to attach to. Professor Kolage, or Pavel Kolage, the guy I'm learning a lot of this stuff from, calls it the punctum fixum. That's the terminology they use in the Czech Republic. But you have to have a strong center. You have to have good stability, and that's what it is. And remember, whenever you pull your belly button in, that lessens your stability. So wipe that from your mind, that whole pull the belly button to the spine thing. If you want stability, you have to anchor. You got to anchor, like someone's trying to move you and you say, you cannot move me, man. Okay? That's what you got, that's the feeling you got to have. And that feeling is created just by having the intention of expansion, growth, and renewal versus the intention of stress, breakdown, and decay. Oh, woe is me versus, hey, I can handle this. So just having the intention of peace and growth and renewal versus the intention of stress and decay can automatically turn on that system. And there's much more to that, but that's just a general term, a general idea. You just want to always have the intention of pushing away. Get your good support points, and then have the intention of pushing away from them. And automatically, that stuff comes on. You shouldn't have to think about core stability. It's automatic. It should be automatic, and all you have to do is have the intention of pushing away from your support points. It's very simple. That's all babies do. I talked about that in the last video. If you haven't seen it yet, go back and see that and get that feeling of pushing away like a baby does. That's what they do when they're laying on their belly. They push up to come to vertical. And that's all you have to do. Your nervous system remembers that. So when you bring that intention of pushing away, it's going to flip back. Your brain's going to flip back, and those patterns are going to turn on that you used as an infant. Okay? I think that's all I have for today. So what I want you to do is subscribe on YouTube. If you're watching this on YouTube, subscribe. You'll get a lot more videos. And if you haven't got your Reverse CPS Now free video series and self-test and all this stuff that talks about these stress-induced muscle imbalances I'm talking about and these poor movement patterns, I got 3 self-tests, and there's almost like a 20-minute exercise video that covers the fundamentals of of the things that I teach to our clients here at Core Wellness. And then lastly, friend me on Facebook, Posture Doc. Just look me up on Posture Doc on Facebook, friend me on Facebook, and then, so that's it. Next time, until next time, think good thoughts, eat good food, and keep moving. And keep moving correctly, efficiently, and strain-free. See ya.